Hello, everyone. How are you? Hey, Kim. I think Kim is here. I got a reaction from her anyway. So we are the Vegan Travel Gals -1 because where is she again, Wendy?
She is in Bulgaria right now,
Yeah,
Caitlin.
Caitlin's in Bulgaria, and we don't know how her Wi-Fi is doing there. So she may or may not join us later. And it looks like she'll be celebrating St. Patrick's Day in Bulgaria, which should be interesting, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know what they do in Bulgaria.
so,
Actually, the reason that she went there at this particular time of year is because of Lent, because it's
ah,
an Orthodox country, and so they're celebrating Lent right now, which means that they're eating a mostly vegan diet. And so she wanted to go check out all of the Lent specialty vegan dishes that are available at this time of year. So Caitlin and another friend of ours, Sam from Alternative Travelers, the two of them are traveling together, and they're going to Bulgaria and Serbia and Montenegro on their vegan link tour, which I think is,
wow.
yeah.
That's awesome. Um, so before we get started, I want to ask everyone who's watching, if you're watching the replay, thank you. And if you're watching live, thank you. And if you could share this out to everyone who you think would be interested or, just in general, thank you very much for doing this. And so we're talking about St. Patrick's Day today. And we've got a lot of fun things to talk about. First off, I'm going next month. Well, 2 months from now. What's today? The 15th? Yeah, a little over 2 months. I can't wait. Like, I'm counting the days at this point because I haven't been there in like 7 or 8 years now. So it's, and I am an Ireland specialist, so it's time, and I'm overdue for an Ireland getaway. So we have a vegan group that we are taking over there. In May 25th, I believe it is. And we're going to see all these vegan places, and we're going to have a great trip. And there's about 20 of us. So it's a nice group. And it is sold out. So I would love to invite you guys to come watch, come see us. Hopefully we'll be doing Facebook Live because the Wi-Fi is much better there than in Italy, let's say. And so we'll do some Facebook Lives there. If you're interested in joining us to Ireland, we will be there. We are working on next year's trip, but we don't have the dates just yet. Again, this trip is sold out, so you can email us and just get, waitlisted on for next year. But Wendy, so you've been there before, right?
To Ireland?
Yeah.
I have. I've only been one time though, so you're definitely the expert here compared to me. And because it was a long time ago, I was trying to think. I think it was 2003, which would have been 15 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
um, yeah, it was my husband and I went there together, sort of, but we were not actually together. We weren't a couple at that time. And it was actually a key moment in our relationship because it's a funny story, but that was when I realized that I thought that we should be a couple, but I didn't tell him for a while after that. But that happened in Ireland. So yeah, we traveled around a little bit together. We
Good
went to
morning,
Dublin.
Catherine. Sorry, I don't mean
Hi,
to.
Catherine. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I have been to Dublin and Cork and Waterford, but yeah, it's all kind of a blur, and I definitely need to go back and explore Ireland more because
Well,
I've
I
never.
haven't been to Waterford actually. Did you like it there in Waterford?
Yeah, I mean, the crystal is what it's famous for, right? The
Right.
Waterford crystal. So I can't remember if we did a factory tour or if we just kind of went to a place where they sold it and you could see all the different little
Well, you
pieces.
might have back then gone to the factory. It's no longer there, but they do have, they sell it there. And they might actually have a factory tour there, but it's not the same. They closed it down. But
Oh,
Catherine, I sent Catherine there. I don't know if she's still on with us or not. I sent Catherine there about 5 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
yeah.
Um, and actually, Catherine's been on our Italy tour as well.
Wow.
So did you go to see the castle there?
In Waterford.
Yes.
I honestly don't remember, so which means that I really need to go back and see everything again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I saw the castle. Is it famous for its castle?
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be one of the most beautiful castles ever. I mean that now that's the reason to go there. Oh, it was 2013 that Catherine went there, so that was 5 years ago. I was right. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so I've heard that the Waterford Castle is probably the best of all the castles, one of the best in the
Oh,
country, and there's some really nice castles there, which we can talk about as well. But we also want to talk about some things that you found, some links that you found. What was it? Yourdailyvegan.com.
yeah, Your Daily Vegan put
Oh,
out a vegan guide to St. Patrick's Day, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. Do you want to throw the link into the comments section, or
yes.
should I do that?
No, I just did.
You did. Okay, good. Yeah, so it's quite a comprehensive guide to all things related to St. Patrick's Day and how to celebrate it as a vegan. So they have quite a few recipes in there. Some of them are, like shamrock shakes and, things that are kind of playing on the theme and the color green and, coming up with new dishes. And then others are kind of veganized versions.
Go ahead. Go
Um,
ahead. Talking. I got something.
All right, I'll just keep talking, Donna. So then they also have some recipes that are kind of veganized versions of traditional Irish dishes that would normally be eaten on St. Patrick's Day or around St. Patrick's Day. So, for example, instead of corned beef and cabbage, there's a corn seitan and cabbage recipe there. There's a vegan colcannon recipe, which if you haven't heard of colcannon before, it's basically like mashed potatoes with kale mixed in.
Yeah.
So it's totally vegetarian, but usually there's milk and butter in the mashed potatoes. But of course, you can very easily make that vegan. So yeah, there's lots of fun St. Patrick's Day recipes in that guide by Your Daily Vegan, and other things too. They're selling a T-shirt, a special vegan St. Patrick's Day T-shirt that says "Kiss me, I'm Irish and vegan."
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Which I thought
I
was really
don't
cute.
know if we have enough time to, well, I think, can you get it on Amazon? I think they said you could, right?
There's definitely a link where you can buy it. I don't know if it's on Amazon or if it's somewhere else.
So if you
Uh,
get it on Amazon, you might have some time to get it
mm-hmm.
today,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
I think I like that. Yeah, those I have to look at that site. I haven't had the chance to do it, but I definitely want. I saw the t-shirts. I kind of glanced at it,
Mm.
and yeah,
And
so
they have
that
in
looked like
there.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of good info there. And that site in general, I recommend. It has lots of helpful stuff. But for this post on St. Patrick's Day, another thing that's in there is how to make your own DIY green food coloring. If you
Wow.
make green pancakes or whatever it is, because they talk about everything, all the stuff that's in the artificial food colorings, which is full of a bunch of chemicals and is not very healthy. And they're also tested on animals, which is something that I hadn't really
Really?
thought about
I didn't
before.
think about that.
Yeah. But it's really easy to make your own, as it turns out. I mean, you can basically just either throw in some green juice and you can add a little bit of apple juice if you're worried about the taste coming out too strong. So a mix of apple juice and green juice. Or the other idea that they had was matcha powder, like green tea powder. And you can add a little bit of that into whatever you're cooking, and that will turn it green as well. And yeah, so it's really easy.
Well, speaking of vegan Irish recipes, Veg News just came out with an article, which I'm going to post here.
Okay.
They had all kinds of stuff on their page, which they did a corned quote beef and cabbage, unbeef stew, colcannon, soda bread, which that's really what I want to learn. And the Vegan Mo's did a recipe in their book, the NYC Vegan. They have a soda bread recipe that looks really interesting. That's what I was getting while I was running away, because I wanted to show
All
you.
right.
It's a
Yeah,
really
no,
easy
I've heard
book.
a lot about that book. I would really
Yeah,
love to check it out. I don't
yeah.
know if I've ever had Irish soda bread before. I'm not sure what it tastes like. I mean, I've read a lot about it. I see a lot about it on recipe sites and stuff, but I don't know if I've had it. Is it sweet, or what makes it
It's
different
like a
from other
brown
bread?
bread. It's just like a brown bread, if I'm not mistaken, if it's the same thing I'm thinking of. It's just a, let me see if I can see the ingredients in here. I don't want to read it all off because you should buy the book. So page 30, page 33, Irish soda bread, vinegar, non-dairy milk, all-purpose flour, baking soda, and salt. That's it.
Oh.
So yeah, that's got to be the brown bread that I've had. Makes a loaf. I'm going to have to try this. Because if I can do 5 ingredients or less, that's easy for me, right?
Yeah, for me too, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not the cook in our family. I will be the first to admit. My husband makes most of our dinners and most of our meals in general, but he's away right now, so I'm stuck on my own, and I'm eating lots of oatmeal because that's kind of my go-to meal. That's the one thing that I know how
saw
to cook.
that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to post this next link. So I posted the link for Veg News. The next link, I think you told me about, was Ireland Stole My Heart, St. Patrick's Day in Ireland.
Yeah, so they talk about the 5 best cities in Ireland where you can celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Is that the one?
I think so. Yes. The 5 best cities. Actually, I can tell you right now. And we can also I want to talk about the best cities in the US too. So
Right.
they're saying that obviously Dublin, one thing people need to understand is the Irish don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day like we do. This is actually an American holiday that we started, but that's a long story. I actually did a newsletter on that recently. So they said Dublin, which is the obvious one, Kilkenny, Galway, which is my favorite. It used to be a town when I was there 20 years ago. It's now a small city.
Really?
It's a great place. And they have a lot of vegan options there. When I went there 20 years ago, they had vegan options. They had health food stores. Cork is another one. And Cork actually is home to the oldest vegetarian restaurant in Ireland. And I cannot remember the name of it right now. I'll have to put it up there later. It's like the vegan Paradiso or something like that. And then Waterford. Waterford was the other option. And then last, well, that is last. That's the last. Those are the 5 that they say that are the best places, which I've been to all. Well, I've been to Kilkenny, but I haven't been to Waterford. And
have you been to any of them on St. Patrick's Day?
No. Actually, the closest I got was like in 2003. Probably the same year. When were you there?
Yeah, 2003, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2003, I was there on a travel agent trip, but it was like early March. And in fact, we got snow then. Oh, wow. Which Ireland just got a ton of snow last week.
Yeah, the UK did as well. I was in the UK and it was snowing all over the country there.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm trying to think of what else we need to talk about with Ireland because it's only like 15 minutes in. We got a lot of stuff we got a lot of time to kill here. Where's Caitlin when you need her?
Well, yeah, I haven't been there for St. Patrick's Day either, so I can't really weigh in on that. But I was reading about the different options in that article, the ones that you just listed about Dublin and Kilkenny and Cork and Waterford. And which one was it that they said? I think it was Cork, or was it Kilkenny?
Here, I'll tell you in 1 second what it.
One of them they were saying it's for families. It was Cork, yeah. So they were saying it was quite similar to the Dublin parade, but it's more family oriented and more family friendly than Dublin, which just reminded me a lot of where I grew up, which is Mobile, Alabama, which has its own Mardi Gras. And so it's always compared. People who know that we have Mardi Gras in Mobile, most people don't even know that. They just know about it in New Orleans. But the ones who do, say that it's the family-friendly version of Mardi Gras, which it is.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's parades, and the kids will go out and
probably because it's smaller. It's more of actually Galway is the small one, and this is what they're saying here. But I will say Ireland in general is very family friendly, and you can take your kids into the pubs because they're not bars, they're pubs.
Right.
So you'll see children in every pub that you go to.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about a bit about the role of the pub in Irish society, and how is it different from a bar as we might think of it in?
Well, okay, let me see if I can get this right. A pub has food. Well, bars have food too, but it's more of a restaurant than a drinking place. Although that's not true. They do have a lot of, here's something here. It says bar is minimal menu, whereas the pub has dinners and appetizers and salads. And, a bar has a large selection of liquor, cocktails, and mocktails, whereas a pub mostly has beers, different kinds of beers.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that hang out in the bars are, it's usually found in cities, and it's different type. It's just a different type of atmosphere. And a bar is usually like a focus for the community of, the neighbors and such. Every pub that you've been to pubs in England, right? So, they're more like the neighborhood pub,
Yeah.
There's the neighborhood bar, but it's a lot different. It's like everyone knows everyone.
And that's where you go to meet up with someone and to socialize.
Right.
And it's not necessarily just about the drinking, although there usually is drinking involved. But you could easily just go from.
Right. So the managers at a bar are usually called bar manager, and then the pub place is called publican or landlord. And I think that was the original wording of pubs. Mm-hmm. I remember that now. I'm looking at this, and I remember the managers are called publican or landlord, and that's why they were called pubs.
Okay.
Something every day, right?
No, because that just came up recently. I was editing a book written by someone who's English, and he used the word landlord, but in the context
for a pub. Are you there? Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Uh-oh. We lost you.
Oh, what happened there?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm glad to be back. I was just saying I was editing this book written by this English guy, and he had used the word landlord, but in the context of pubs and drinking. And I was saying, I don't understand what landlords have to do with this, because for me, a landlord is someone who owns property and rents it out, usually an apartment.
Right. Well, actually, I have to correct myself. It was called a publican or a landlord, but the overview was pub is short for public house. That's what I remember now.
Right.
And they're licensed to serve alcoholic beverages in so-called countries or establishments with British influence, but also obviously Irish influence. Here's the age limit difference. Age limits for bars is between 18 and 21. And I think in the US it's 21. I don't think there's many. There might be a few 18-year-olds that are allowed, but I don't think so. And generally in pubs, it says 18 and 21, but since pubs offer dining, minors are often permitted as long as there's an adult.
Right. And then also in Ireland and the UK, the drinking age is lower anyway. So I don't think there are any places where you have to be 21 to get in.
Right. And then they said with a bar, it's got loud music, it's more like the disco, well, not necessarily, just loud music in general. And it's a lot more hopping, Whereas a pub is casual atmosphere for spending long periods of time with, I don't know if soothing and unobtrusive music is what it is really, but you know, it's Irish music. Yeah, it's soothing and it's, you know, anyway. And those are the main differences really.
Right. And maybe we should talk about what it is that you would drink in a pub because, well, there's Guinness,
Yeah.
which is probably the first thing that people think of about what they're going to drink on St. Patrick's Day. And it is now vegan.
Yes, after 350 years, I believe, they changed the recipe so that it doesn't have the in it. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Isinglass?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so they did that just because the vegans over there pressured them so much. And I actually would send them emails once in a while and saying, listen, I got vegan clients going to Ireland all the time. When are you going to make it vegan?
Really?
And they would respond.
Yeah.
They responded, yes. Every 6 months I would email them and they'd, you know, say, we've got it coming. Now, I'm not sure that the bottled is vegan just yet. So I know that the tap is. When you go into a bar, it is.
Right, yeah. That's what I read a while. I think by now probably all of the bottles that are on the shelves are also going to be vegan at this point.
Right.
I had read an article from almost a year ago that said, yeah, all of the kegs that are going out to the pubs, those are all vegan. And the bottles, you know, we're in the process of kind of shifting them over, but you might still find things on the shelf, you know, that are from the pre-vegan days.
Right.
That was a while ago. So you should always check. I mean, you know, vegans are in the habit of reading labels whenever they buy anything, so it's not a big deal. But I would imagine that you can probably easily find bottles and cans of Guinness that are vegan now too.
Right. There is a vegan beer directory.
Mm-hmm.
And now one thing I will tell you is that the beer over in Ireland is, you know, they drink Budweiser over there and it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to check. I have to check and make sure it's vegan. But when I tasted it 20 years ago over there, it was good. So It's totally different than I don't know if it's in the water or what it is. But you know what? We can actually look at Barnivore. I'm gonna put up this link right now. It's a great link. I wish they used to have it in an app and they took it out for some reason. Maybe there's something.
I didn't realize the app wasn't there anymore.
The Barnivore, yeah, because I used to take it with me when I'd go shopping. So let's look at Budweiser.
And for people who might not understand why a beer would not be vegan, it's actually the filtration process. So they will use different kinds of animal products to filter the beer as it's being produced. And in the case of Guinness, it was isinglass, which is a fish bladder. It's a part of the fish's body that it uses to stay balanced in the water so that it doesn't float up to the top. Yeah, so that's what was in Guinness. And then you can, in the cases of other different kinds of alcohol, you might find egg whites or seashells or, yeah, all different kinds of animal products that are sometimes used for filtering. But then there are also other vegan ways of filtering as well. So some beers are vegan, you know, use this non-vegan filtration system. Others don't. Same with wines. You'll find some that are filtered with animal products, some that aren't. So yeah, Barnivore, I mean, you know, it's up to each individual person how much they want to worry about these kind of minute details.
Right.
And I don't necessarily encourage people to obsess about these things. If it's not on the label and it's not easy for you to find out, you know, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you do have the information at your fingertips, like with the Barnivore site, then that's great. You know, if you can choose, if you have, you know, different choices and you can make an educated choice and choose the vegan one. And I do think it's great that vegans have been putting pressure onto these companies like Guinness and that they're responding. So, you know, it is good for us to be educated about these things. But, you know, like I said, I don't think we should obsess about it too much if we can't figure out if this particular bottle of wine that we're being offered is vegan or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, if I know that it's not vegan, I won't drink it, obviously. But there are times where, I mean, when we were in Italy, you're in the middle of nowhere, and more than likely, these are from small farmers, and they don't use it. You know, that's. But you just don't know. So I actually just found out that Budweiser is vegan friendly.
Okay.
The only one that I'm seeing that's not is in. It's called Budweiser Clamato Chelada, whatever that is. That must be a new kind of beer or something. But in Belgium and USA and in England, they said it's vegan.
Okay.
So it was really good over there, I have to say.
Well, I will admit, I don't like any kind of beer. I never have, even Guinness. I've never acquired the taste for beer. So I wasn't that concerned about Guinness not being vegan. But the one that I am really excited about is that there is also now a vegan version of Bailey's.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Can we get this in the stores? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm living in Portugal and I haven't seen it here, but it's been on the market for a couple of years now.
You know
it's made with almond milk.
I think I did see it recently.
It's an almond milk Bailey's. Yeah. And at first they kind of messed up and it wasn't fully vegan. So they replaced the cow's milk with the almond milk, but then they were using beeswax or some kind of bee product. And so then they couldn't get the vegan certification.
You mean to close the cap off or what?
I don't know. I don't know what the role of the beeswax was, but I know that it was being used. Whether it was actually in the drink or not, I'm not sure. That would seem weird to me. But yeah, I think that was a mistake on their part. And then once they realized that they weren't going to be able to have vegan certification, then they reformulated it. And so now it is totally vegan. Yeah. The almond milk Bailey's.
Well, Catherine, I just noticed you said that you've been to all the cities that were noted except for Galway. I don't know if you're still watching us, but next year, put it on your calendar. Come join us.
So where in Ireland does your tour go, Donna?
Right, so we start in Dublin, and we end up in Adair, which is a great city. So in between, this is what we do. And I just love this itinerary. I cannot wait. We're going to Dublin. We're going to do there's a vegan walking tour that this company does in Ireland. It's like Vegan Walking Tour Ireland is the name of the company. I just found out about them.
Oh yeah, I
had already known about them. So guess what guess where we're going on day 3 and 4? Where
are you going?
Kilkenny and Waterford.
Aha! Fantastic.
So yeah, we're gonna we'll be looking at the Kilkenny Castle. Hopefully, maybe we can at least drive by the Waterford Castle. We're going to be going to the Waterford Medieval and Viking Museum, and then we go to Adair. But then we go on day 4. We're going to my favorite place, which is the donkey rescue. I actually went back to Ireland like 10 years later just to see this rescue place, and we spent the day down there. And it's on 100 acres of land, and at any given time they have 700 donkeys, and of all sizes, because some of them are mules and some of them are donkeys. So it's so much fun.
And so, why are there so many donkeys in Ireland? Are they still used?
They're still used, and they are still abused in the farming industry, unfortunately. So yeah, you'll see donkeys everywhere. You know, you'll see them on the farmlands a lot, and they're just such incredible creatures. So yes, and you know, with humans there comes abuse a lot of times. So there is a big need for at least one sanctuary. They could probably use another one there.
Yeah. I visited a donkey sanctuary in Greece, actually, on the island of Crete, and donkeys are everywhere in Greece as well, and they're used and abused a lot for agriculture, but also for the tourism industry. Unfortunately, donkey rides is
the donkey rides
thing. in Santorini in particular, because when people arrive from the cruise boats, they have to get up, from the beach. They have to get up to the top of this volcano, because Santorini is a volcanic island and it's quite steep. And so, yeah, donkeys are used to carry people up. Although there is an elevator or some other kind of other option as well. So hopefully the donkey rides are going to be phased out, just like elephant riding is becoming, socially unacceptable as people.
Right. Hopefully that'll be as well at some point. I do want to give a shout out to somebody who's, I think he's watching, Randy Epstein. He actually, when I do my independent tours, his company, Celtic Tours, I will set people up with them and I will book everything for them. I'm not trying to promote myself here, but Catherine said Aruba has a donkey sanctuary too. Yeah, there's actually a donkey sanctuary in London, and I think somehow they're all related. But anyway, back to Celtic Tours. Yes, they're a great company that I work with. If you guys ever want to, hey Randy, how are you? They're I can set you up with air, hotel, or B&B. That's what I usually recommend to people, is to get a bed and breakfast and not to do the hotel thing. And then do your own drive. Bye, Darian. I think she just left. Darian's one of my biggest fans here. So, yeah, so it's very easy to do. It's very easy to drive. The only thing I would recommend to people is to get an automatic car when you're driving over in Ireland, because while I drive stick shift, it's just that much harder to figure out, because you're on the other side of the road and on the other side of the car. So the stick shift is on your left instead of your right, and your windshield wipers are on your left instead. Like everything is mixed up, so you have to like really concentrate on your driving. So just to lessen that, I always tell people to get an automatic car rental. But back to the rest of our tour, I'm just going to give you a quick overlook. On day 5, we're going to the Wild Atlantic Way, and we're doing a walk in the Burren County, in County Clare. And the Burren is my favorite place on earth, I think. In fact, so much so, there's a town called Doolin, which I named my cat who passed away last year. I named my cat after this town. That's how much I liked it. And we're going to be doing a wild food walk, with, they're going to be talking to us about the edible plants over there, which are something like 8,000 edible plants.
Oh, that's so cool. So you're going to be like walking out in the fields or the forest and someone pointing out the different edible plants. Yeah. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah. And then after lunch, we have free time. We're going to, if we have free time, which we will, we'll go to the Cliffs of Moher and the town of Doolin. And the Cliffs of Moher is this area where it used to, I wish I could screen share. I can't screen share on here. It's this just beautiful overlook, and you climb up it, and it used to be that there wasn't even like a railing, you just walk up these steps, and you're lucky if you don't get blown over. And now they have railings, and they have, it's not as pretty, but it's, I guess, a lot safer than it used to be. I remember walking up there one time, and I had this big, heavy camcorder, and it was really windy, and I almost got blown off. And I just, I had to like crawl my way up the steps to make it up there. But it's worth the view. And I tell you what else is worth the view, if you have the time, is to take a one-day cruise over to the Aran Islands.
Okay.
And I think what was the name of the island? But anyway, the main island over there, you can go and just spend the day and get lost for like an hour or two, and then go to I think there's one, maybe 2 pubs there. There was this one pub that had like car licenses from every part of the world, all over the wall. So you can go there. The only problem with going over there is that if it's really windy out or the weather is bad, they either won't take you over there, or they take you over there. Innismore, thank you, Randy. Or they'll take you over there, but you get stuck there. Or they'll take you from one point, pick you up from one point on the mainland, and then take you to, like, let's say they pick you up in Doolin and it's windy out, so they take you to Galway. So that's like an hour and a half away. So you just have to be kind of careful. If you're up for an adventure, it's definitely worth it to do it. But what I really liked is when we came back on the cruise, you got to see the Cliffs of Moher from the water level, not from up above. And it's just so beautiful. The dolphins followed us when we did that.
Oh,
There's like a pod of dolphins that followed us. Yes.
Oh, that's so amazing.
So,
and can you stay on the islands as well if you want to? Or is
Randy, maybe you have that answer if you're still with us. I think there might be some B&Bs, but not very many. Oh, yes, they speak Gaelic as their primary.
Oh, that's their primary language.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
Yes, I forgot to turn off my phone. Anyway, Randy say they speak Gaelic as their primary language over in that island. In certain parts of Ireland, they will. Let me turn this off. I'm sorry, guys.
No problem.
Okay, there we go. I just have to remember to turn it back on. Like if you go down into Dingle and that area, they'll mostly speak Gaelic or Irish. So then we end up in the Burren. We have tea, and then we're gonna have a 3-course lunch made by Kasha and learn some of her chocolate making secrets.
Ooh.
And then we'll go to Ballyvaughan.
It's a vegan tour, is that right?
It is a vegan tour, yeah, chocolate vegan.
All of the meals are going to be vegan.
Everything's going to be vegan. And then we end up in Ballyvaughan, which is kind of a cute little town, and it kind of reminds me of how Galway used to be, where there's shops and everything. Well, it's not as big as what Galway used to be, but it's a tiny town where you can do some shops, and you can go for high tea and just enjoy the rest of the day. And then we stay in Dare that night, and then we head off back home the next day. And we're also doing a post tour to Ireland. It's to the northern part, which I really loved. I'm not going to have a chance to do it on this trip. I'm hoping I'll do it on the next trip, because it goes up. I'm very intrigued with the politics of Ireland, and it does go into Northern Ireland. So you get to spend a couple nights in Belfast. And then you go up to the Giant's Causeway, which I haven't been to yet. That's my bucket list. And the Giant's Causeway is very similar to the Burren. And one thing I will tell you, the Burren is on the ocean, but it's not sand formation. It's not sandy. It's rocks. It's all rocks. And it's the same thing. Oh, Randy said there's a few B&B options in the Aran Islands.
Thank you.
But the Galway, I mean, I wonder if I could get you a picture of the Giant's Causeway, because I think maybe I can get you a link to it and you can take a look at the photo. It's just a beautiful rock formation.
Yeah, I think I've seen photos before, and it reminded me of a place that I saw in Iceland. I think it was near Vik. Was the name of the town or village, really. Yeah, it's a really intriguing formation,
right?
Like these kind of rectangles stacked on top of each other,
right?
Yeah.
So then we go from the Giant's Causeway and the North Antrim coast. It's the Causeway is Ireland's only UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yeah. I thought there were more, but I guess that's right. Afterwards, we go to the ruins of Dunluchy Castle, and Randy, if I'm botching it, I'm sorry. Plus the world's oldest whiskey distillery at Bushmills.
Bushmills, yeah.
Yes, and then they go to Carrick on Reed Rope Bridge, which I'll probably pass on that because I don't do rope bridges very well. And then the third day we go to Derry and learn about their history. And the Bloody Sunday Monument. We go to the Bogside Murals, Free Dairy Corner, which is the Bloody Sunday Moment. And then we check out the city's walls and the few cathedrals, and then we have we'll have lunch at a historic pub, and then we go to the Ulster Folk Museum Park. And I was there years ago. It's an open air museum about the immigration of the Irish to America. And here you'll book passage on a ship bound for America and emerge into a recreated Irish village of long ago. And then the last stop, we go to Enniskillen, where we can go shopping and along the 19th century butter market buildings that have been restored. And there's a lot of crafts and ceramics and all of that kind of stuff. And then we go back to Belfast for dinner. And if you get a chance, I really highly recommend that, because we will be doing the Titanic Museum the first day. But if you have the chance to get an extra day in, I recommend that you do what they call the Black Taxi Tours in Belfast, which really goes into all the politics of what's happened in the past 100 years in Ireland with the Irish and the British.
Yeah, I would love to visit Northern Ireland. I've never been there before, and yeah, like you, I'm really intrigued by the politics and would like to learn more about the history. So that all sounds really fascinating.
Oh, Belfast and the Coastal Causeway has just been named as the top. Hey, Randy, do you want to come in for a minute? I know you're not vegan, but you can definitely talk Ireland. If you want to come in, just let me know. I'll send you a link. He is my sales rep for Celtic Tours. One thing
you said reminded me, you were talking about how you can, book a passage to the Americas and pretend that you're an Irish immigrant to the States. And we did say at the beginning that we wanted to talk about celebrating St. Patrick's Day in the U.S. as well.
Yes. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry. That got away from me. So here in D.C., we have our own, St. Patrick's Day parade. But I found, and let me see if I can find it again, the top 10 St. Patrick Day. Well, okay, so we know that you all know about the one in Chicago, right?
Yeah, that's where they turn the river green.
Yes, they turn the river green. So all right, so the top best places to celebrate St. Patrick's Day are, where is this article here? All right, so they're saying this is U.S. News travel section. Boston was number 2. Boston's got a really large Irish population. So, it's one of the bigger ones. Savannah, Georgia, which I wouldn't have thought. Isn't that interesting? Savannah, Georgia.
I never would have guessed that.
They do annual traditions like dyeing the water green at Forces Park and tailgating before the historic parade make one of the country's most popular places to celebrate. All right, so then there's New London, Wisconsin. What? These are really crazy ones here. Unlike any other visit to New London is a must. It's situated 40 miles west of Green Bay. This quaint city stands out thanks to, in part, its quirky St. Paddy's Day festivities. Oh, we might have to go check that out. Changing the city signs to read New Dublin, and locals putting in an Irish funeral parody. And they do a mock funeral procession. And if you know anything about the Irish and their funerals, they're not shy about it. All right. Well, then there's Chicago, and Chicago dyes the Chicago River.
I'm guessing New York is probably on there as well.
Yeah, I'm still going there. This place has some really quirky places. I'll send you the link in a second, but Hot Springs, Arkansas, featuring attractions like Irish Elvis. And I actually know of an Irish Elvis. Okay. So he does exist. A kissing contest with the Arkansas Blarney Stone, which should be interesting. Which, by the way, if you guys go to the Blarney Stone Castle, don't kiss it, please. It's really gross. You don't want to know what they do.
What do they do?
It's also the world's largest inflatable leprechaun. Oh my God, I have to go there. It draws 30,000 people. So that's pretty cool. The world's largest inflatable leprechaun. He might be kind of scary. Okay, so these are like really quirky places. North Kansas, Missouri. So through North Kansas, celebration goes the name of Snake Saturday in honor of the Irish legend about St. Patrick driving pagans out or snakes out of Ireland.
Did you say driving vegans out of Ireland?
No. But pagans. Close enough. We can be considered pagans. No snakes are involved. Okay. So this is okay. Cause I was thinking about that. I was like, are they going to do something that's no snakes involved? Instead, revelers participate in a variety of St. Patrick's Day activities, including a charity cook-off. Obviously it's not vegan, a lad and lassie contest for kids and a 2-day carnival. All right. New York City. There you go. New York City. That's really packed. So it's the most popular and the most populous city. And it's the largest celebration. So skip the crowds at New York's long parade in favor of an authentic dose of Irish culture at the Irish Arts Center annual St. Patrick's Open Day, which offers everything from tin whistle and tap dancing to face painting and Gaelic football. Which, by the way, football is not the same as it is in Ireland, for those of you that are thinking about it. It's actually soccer over there, but they call it football.
But then the Celtic, what did they just call it? Irish football or Celtic football? That's something else too. That's not soccer either.
It's not soccer?
No, it's its own game, which is played with a ball that's more like the shape of an American football. And I only know this because my husband is Australian, and so they have Aussie rules, Australian rules football in Australia, and then they have this Gaelic football in Ireland, and once a year they play a joint game where they play, like the Aussie guys and the Irish guys play together, and they do like a mix up of a combination of the rules. So yeah, that's about all that I know about it.
Okay.
And now I'm wondering if I got that right about the ball or not. Maybe it is more like a soccer ball, because in Aussie rules it's like in the, what do you call that shape? You know, like an oblong shape, like an American football. And I think that the main problem with this whole concept of combining these two games is that they use a different kind of ball. So maybe it is actually a round ball for Gaelic football, but Gaelic football is different from soccer and also different from American football.
Well, Catherine said, is it rugby?
Well, I mean, they're all kind of similar, yeah, but it does have its own rules. It's only played in Ireland and then in Australia once a year when they get together with the Aussies and play this weird mix-up version of it.
Huh. So it's a type of rugby. Okay.
Yeah, it's similar to rugby.
So let's keep going, because these are really kind of quirky places. I like this. We might have to do a road trip. It'll get you to come over here. We'll do a road trip for one St. Patrick's Day. All right. So O'Neill, Nebraska. Like, where are they getting these names?
O'Neill's does sound like a place that would have a good Patrick's Day celebration.
It says home to the world. So this is so we've got the world's largest leprechaun or blow up leprechaun. Now we've got the world's largest shamrock. The small city of O'Neill doubles in size mid-March. Once you've gotten your fill of the town's massive painted shamrock, enjoy some of O'Neill's unconventional St. Patrick's Day, such as dodgeball. It's going to be dodgeball then. And a hypnosis. A dodgeball tournament and a hypnosis show.
Random.
Oh, all right. And number 10 is Enterprise, Alabama. For a condensed version of St. Patrick's Day, head to Enterprise in southeast Alabama. Each year, this small southern town puts on a celebration billed as the world's smallest St. Patrick's Day parade, which features only one participant who dances and sings along the parade route.
What?
Oh, we have to check these out. This is too much. All right, that's it. That's it. Oh, well, oh, wait. So now the number 10 one, which makes sense, is New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
New Orleans is one big party every month. You know, last month what is it that they do? The big celebration there.
Mardi Gras.
Thank you. And now it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I always think of it as a Mardi Gras destination. I hadn't really thought about St. Patrick's Day there.
Right. It says the Big Easy may be famous for its iconic Mardi Gras festivities, but come March, New Orleans embraces its lesser-known Irish heritage. I can't speak today. On St. Patrick's Day, the city hosts a variety of block parties, including parades. They always have block parties there, including the Irish Channel Parade, which features parade participants throwing Irish stew ingredients such as cabbage, potatoes, and carrots into the crowd. At least it's vegan.
All right.
That's it. Oh, we definitely need to do some road trips on that.
Yeah, I think you'd have to span it out over multiple years to be able to hit all of those. I don't think you're going to do them in a single day on a single road trip. But yeah, those sound like some pretty cool experiences.
So I think that does it for today. If anybody has any questions. Oh, Kathleen, I just noticed you missed it when you were there. So Kathleen, we're going to be doing a group trip next year. And if you want to go on your own, give me a shout out, send me a message. I will be happy to talk to you. But that's it for today. Next month, I believe, hopefully if Caitlin has Wi-Fi. Well, first off, next month we have to check our calendars because next month I'm going to be in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm going to have to check my calendar too because I'm going to be speaking at some events in the UK. I think the date will have to be yet to be determined.
Yes.
But we are talking about Paris, right?
Yes. April in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
What more can you say? 2019. Yes, Kathleen, we are doing it in 2019. So please send me a message. At any rate, I want to know how to say I was trying to look it up, how to say Happy St. Patrick's Day.
In Gaelic?
Yes. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it.
I know how to say two things in Irish Gaelic. Conasatatu and Tamegoma.
Here we go. Let me see if she can say it for me.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, no, wait. No, she won't do it. Okay.
Happy St. Patrick's
She won't
Day.
do it and get it's hasta la fe la pirate. I can't say it. I thought she would say it for me. Oh, dang it. Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Stay safe. If you're drinking, please don't drive. Please use Uber or your friend or whoever is not drinking. And we'll see you next month.
Next month in Paris.
April in Paris. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.